चालू करो. Hello everyone, welcome back in Hotel Mammon video lecture. Myself Arvind Chauhan, Assistant Professor, BBD University, Lucknow. I'm here to deliver a lecture on your food and beverage service, which is given topic.
Malting, and then after there is milling. After this there is mashing. All right, then after is lautering. These are the important terms. These are the important steps to making beer. After the lautering there is another term is boiling. Again, it's a very important. Then after there is fermentation, because fermentation is a key point to production of beer. During the production of beer, all right, after the fermentation we have to do the conditioning, because the conditioning is important. And after the conditioning there is a filtering and then packaging in the bottles and the can. So malting we have to take the barley. All right, so malting is the first step in production of beer. Is malting. In malting process the starch in the cereal is converted to the soluble sugar. The starch convert to the soluble sugar, in which we will use barley. We have to soak the barley in water about 3 days. We have to soak the barley in water about 3 days. As you can you can see in the next step. Okay, so the next step is all right. Just a moment. See, as you can see here, there's a malting. So before this, you can see the brewery process. This is the one by one diagram is over here. You can see there's a malting starting point where we are putting grain onto the milling. Then again it's go to the mashing. Mashing will take 1 to 2 hours. After the mashing, lautering, as you can learn over there. Lautering is a process where we have to sprinkle the water, but the water should not sprinkle by like we cannot pour the water together. We have to sprinkle the water by some using like different kind of sprinkling points. So by this we have to put the water, because the this process is going through like 1 or 2 hours. Within a 1 or 2 hours, one by like slowly we will add water. After the lautering, this is the boiling process. After the boiling we have to like after the boiling, okay, before the boiling they spread the flour to germinate, and germinated cereal is termed as a green malt, and the germinated cereal is termed as a green malt. So the green malt is an important during the production of beer. Spread on floor. See the barley. When we will sow the barley, then we spread the barley over the floor, which is germinated. The germination things is called green malt. All right. Then the dried and roasted form pale to very dark depending on the style of beer produced. So this another step. How much we will roast the things. How much we roast the thing is important. It depend on the types of the beer. See, malt is cleaned and crushed to powder called grist. All right. Then the grist is mixed with hot water and the temperature should be 65 degrees Celsius. As you can see over here, 45 to 63 and 73 degrees Celsius. Then grist is mixed with hot water and the temperature 65. Okay. Mash is allowed to infuse the stacked malt sugar. The liquid now is termed as a wort. See, the mash is allowed to infuse the stacked malt sugar. In mashing process, second step, in mashing is allowed to infuse the stacked malt sugar. This liquid now is termed as a what? This after the mashing, the liquid is come out is called uh, what? WORT, what? Okay, and the wort is drained after the clean container. Wort is drained after the clean container. The cereal reduced is sold to cattle feed. Again, we put for the littering. Then hops or sugar are added to the boil to extract the bitter flavors of the hops. In the boiling, we will add to some hops. You can see here they are putting some hops. Wort is transferred to hops back to remove the hops, and the wort is passed through the spent hope to remove sediments. Spent hope are sold as fertilizer. Then we have to cooled by paraflow in 15 degrees Celsius. Whirlpool you can see there. We have to cool by the paraflow is about 15 to 20 26 degrees Celsius. Cooled hoof, then you can see on the another step cooling. Cooled hoof flavored sweet wort is transferred to white for fermentation. This is the after the cooling, whatever mass, whatever wort is come out, we have to do for the fermentation in this process. Yeast in the fermentation, yeast is added, sugar is converted to alcohol, and CO2 gas is give off. The temperature occurs in 15 to 25 degrees Celsius. And the bottom fermentation at 5 to 9 degrees Celsius. Surplusly yeast is taken off and retained of future brews. After the fermentation, we have to do the maturation process, racked into casks and tanks. These are the casks and tanks. Brightened and addition of isinglass, then we have to filter it. After the maturation, we have to filter it. We have to do the filtration by the different method. Earlier we have discussed what are the method are the isinglass and seaweed. Isinglass is like is a bladder of sturgeon fish. Bottled, canned, and dragged into sterilized cask and stabilized in dropped, and some of the beer, bottled beer, yeast is added to condition of beer. Dispatched to the market, as you can see here, the bottling, and then the sold out. So the one by one, go to another. As you can see here, the first process, which was malting. Barley grain is made ready for brewing, broken down into three steps. First one is steeping. Grain is added to water and allowed to soak for 40 hours. Steeping. Grain is added to water and allowed to soak for 40 hours. In this process, in this process, the grain is added to the water and allowed to soak for the 40 hours. Like we have to leave the grain for 40 hours with the water. Then germination. Germination, grain is spread out on the floor for 5 hours in germination room. Cleaning, malt goes through a very high temperature drying in cleaning. Okay, and after the malting, the milling process, kernels break apart, the botulism is exposed, make it easier to extract the sugar during mashing. Whatever grains is germinated, we have to mash on them. Mashing process is called a milling. Okay. The mashing, and another is full mashing. Mashing is convert starch into sugar that can be fermented. Saccharification, result sugar rich liquid wort. So whatever the mashing content is come is called wort. So mass product is called wort. Okay, this is the lottering. As you can see in the image, this is the lottering. Wort is strained through the bottom of the mash tun. Mash temperature may be raised to 75 to 78 degrees Celsius. Mash out to dictative enzymes. Sparging additional water is sprinkled on the grain to extract additional sugar. When we add some water, we can extract the additional sugar. All right. So the next step you can see here is boiling. Boiling done in the large tank, copper or kettle. Boiled with hops or sugar. In the boiling process, we have to add the hops, which give the better flavor to the taste and good enzymes. Important decisions about the flavor, aroma, color of the beer are made in this step. Okay, serve to terminate enzymatic process, precipitating proteins, isomerize hops, resins, and concentrate and sterilize the wort. Whirlpooling, solid particles in the wort are separated out and clarified. So what the meaning of the word cooling you have seen here in this picture? There is a word cooling. This is a separating of the large particles. Clarified a whole word. After the boiling, we have to do the fermentation process. This is the very important process. Fermentation process. Fermentation, warm fermentation, cold fermentation, spontaneous fermentation. There's a different kinds of the fermentation over here. Cooling via a heat exchange, commonly plate style, to a temperature where yeast can be added. Cooling is the most important as yeast will die above 60 degrees Celsius. As we know, when we heat, when the product is commodity is heated above 60 degrees Celsius, your yeast will die. Yeast will die. Okay, so make sure we have to learn this. The temperature should not be above 60 degrees Celsius. That's why we have to cool. Yeast added or pitches to the fermentation tank. Process takes up to 7 to 10 days approximately, depending upon the beer type. So it's take like 5 to 10 days. It depends on the what kind of beer you are producing. Okay. Okay. Fermentation timeline. Over here is you can see the fermentation timeline, phase and time. There's a different two categories: phases and time. Late phase time is will take 10 to 3 to 15 hours after pitching, after adding the fermenting from yeast. Next phase is exponential growth phase is 1 to 4 days, and stationary phase is to take 3 to 10 days. These are the different phases where the time is different. In different phases, time will take different. Okay. So over here you can see the definition of the fermentation. So what is fermentation? It is very important as per your as point of view of your examination. The point of view of examination, fermentation is a process by which yeast convert the glucose into the water to ethyl alcohol and carbon gas, giving the beer both in alcohol content and it is carbonation. To begin the fermentation process, the cooled water is transferred into a fermentation vessel to which the yeast has already been added. So you can see here there is a chemical reaction process, glucose, action of the yeast, ethanol plus carbon dioxide. So the formula of the glucose is C6H12O6 is 2C2H5OH. See in the fermentation process we have already discussed about the what kind of the yeast used on the fermentation process. Again I am telling you guys, Saccharomyces calcifergeus yeast used for the bottom fermentation and Saccharomyces cerevisiae yeast used for the top fermentation. Alright. Okay, moving to the next slide. Next slide is conditioning. What is the conditioning? See, these are the conditioning tank. Aging of beer, flavor becomes smoother. Unwanted flavor dissipate. It takes 2 to 4 weeks. So conditioning the tank, conditioning tanks is over here. Here, you can settle down the commodities, unflavored things. Then we have to take out. Then after is filtering and packaging. Filtering and packaging. Okay, there is a term in the previous. There is a term is pitching. This term is come is pitching. So what is pitching? The addition of yeast to the wort for fermentation is called pitching. Wort is basically what? What is the wort? Is again important terms you have learned there. Wort is boiled water with malt and hops. Okay, wort is a boiled water with malt and hop. Mash hot water with grist. Grist is milled, dried, and roasted barley. Roasted barley, milled and dried roasted barley is called grist. Malting process of converting isolated starch in the cereal to soluble sugar is called malting. Alright, I hope you are getting. Okay, very good. Filtering and packaging. This is the last process, is the filtering and packaging. Filtered by the seat pad filters, Kesel Gur P filter, packaged in the bottles and cans and case. You can see here there's a different kind of way you can pack the beers. It's bottles, you can pack in cans and the case. Alright. Then the beer is dispatched in the market. Okay, moving to the next slide. Okay, before this, after the packaging, we'll discuss the packaging in details because the beer are packed into sterilized casks, case, bottles, and cans. Some draft beer are bottled and canned beer are pressurized by subjecting them to steam at 60 degrees Celsius for 18 minutes to sterilize and lengthen the shelf life of the beer. The beer is then cooled, labeled, packed, and distributed for the sale. Beer come on the following containers depending on its market: casks, keys, bottles, cans, and tanks. So in this, what is the cask? Cask basically is draft beer are racked into sliced casks which are made from plank of oak and bounded by metal belt. Most modern casks of today are made of metal. These beers are allowed to condition before contributing to the market, which makes the content have carbon dioxide. This adds in the fermentation of head while serving. Casks are stored horizontally on the saline cellar. Casks are available in different capacity in the market. All right. So cask basically is used for the draught beer. Draught beer who's done is I will tell you about the draught beer. Okay, so we are the important thing is what is draft beer. All right. So when we talk about the draft beer is the big container in which either the pasteurized, in which we have to like there's a tea tea there's a teas over there. Like we have to, you must have seen in the different type of restaurant there is a gun, beer guns. So similar type the draft beer, which is directly taken from the cask. Okay, okay. Moving toward the next slide. Next slide is storage of the beer. How you have to store the beer. It's a very important thing. Okay. See the temperature above 21 Celsius will destroy the flavor. When you store the beer, your temperature rise 21 degrees Celsius, it will spoil. Okay. So the beer temperature should not be above 21 degrees Celsius while storing the beer. All right. Okay. Next point is light will also spoil beer. Then is the draft must always be chilled. Shelf life is 30 to 45 days. Keep upright to avoid contact will cap. Always keep cold 4 to 21 degrees. Always keep cold 4 to 21 degrees Celsius. If the guests want the temperature, room temperature, then you can maintain the temperature 18 or 15 to 18 degrees Celsius. Okay, service of beer. Service of beer from bottle, cans, glass, and goblet. Now, while serving the beer, you tilt the glass at 45 degrees Celsius. While serving the beer, tilt the glass about 45 degrees Celsius. Alright. Strengthen the glass after half full. Strengthen the glass after the half full. When head is slightly above the rim, stop. When head is slightly above the rim, stop to pour. So when you take, always you have to put the glass right hand side. You have to hold the glass right hand side. Then tilt the glass 45 degrees Celsius with the bottle. But make sure the bottleneck should not be put on the rim of the glass. You have to remember this point. Okay. Then state the glass after half full. Once you fill the glass half, just gradually you have to extend your glass. When head is slightly above, then stop. Okay, draft beer how to serve. Tilt the glass again 45 degrees Celsius. Strengthen the glass after the fill. When head is slightly above, the rim is same process with this draft beer also. Okay, accurating servicing depending on three things. Accurate servicing depends on the three things. Cleanliness of the beer. Cleanliness of the glass, of course, beer, not the beer. Cleanliness of the glass and temperature of the glass, beer. Temperature of the beer and correcting for it. See, in nowadays, what happened in the hotels, the smart people put in the glass into the refrigerator also, so that it can be chilled. Then you can pour. So the temperature of the beer should not be changed. Okay, so whatever temperature your beer is, the same temperature will remain. Okay. After that, correct pouring of beer. So the correct way how to pour the correct temperature of the beer. See, the temperature of the beer is very important, because if the beer is too hot, then obviously it's not be like the taste would be like very bitter. Okay. So before this, we are going to discuss the fault in the beer. It's again a very important fault in a beer. Beer fault can be attributed to poor cellar management, flour, or common reason for the poor quality of beer. Fault in the beer, you can say the storage of the beer, dirty beer dispensing system, failure to clean the beer lines with water after very empty barrels. Okay, in storage of beer. Again, you can. We have another points we have to discuss. Like beer must be stored in a well ventilated cellar at a temperature range of 13 to 50 degrees Celsius. The cask receiving should be kept on the stallion and should remain the least of 24 hours to allow it to settle after a journey from the brewery. Okay. Spill control should be done carefully to ensure the quality of beer and control pressure inside inside the cask. So you know the cask can be a wooden cask, like it's look like a barrel. Okay. Spill control should be done carefully to ensure the quality of beer and control the pressure inside the cask. Tapping should be carried out 24 hours before it is required. Beer left in pipe at the end of the day should be drawn off, filtered back into the cask. Okay. Bottled beer should be stored in clean condition and must not be subjected to extreme of temperature. Beer stored at too cold temperature will develop a chill haze. So it should not be too cold. As you can see here, always keep the cold 14 degrees Celsius. All right. Okay. Before it, after this, we should know what is a flat beer. Flat beer, this is again a disadvantage, like the flat beer. When your beer will become flat, there's a trick. Listen, pour or faulty pile control, having a soft pile when hard pile is needed. Too low in temperature, serve a greasy glass, pour at left in glass for a long time. If in your beer there is no head, means this is the flat beer. There is no CO2, it means it's a fat beer. Okay. Cloudy beer is stored in low temperature, uncleaned or properly cleaned pipe, trying to pull the beer from the cask before removing the spill. Okay. So what is the sour beer? Sour beer. Sour beer basically depositing of yeast in the pipe and dispensing equipment, adding stale beer to a fresh cask of beer, not executing the beer on time, exposing the beer to heavy function of temperature, exposed to heavy lighting. Sorry. All right. Okay. Now again, I'm telling you, beer. What is the alcoholic content of the beer? Alcohol free. There is uh, 0.0%. Low alcohol 0.5 to 1.2%. Standard beer is 3 to 4% alcohol. Premier beer is 3 to 4 to 60% alcohol content. Then strong beer is 6 to 8% alcoholic percentage, and super strong is 8 to 11% strong beer. Okay, so this is the important things that I told you. All right, and again the important thing, there is some definitions of what is the grit, what is the mass, what is the what. So I am telling you. See, head in beer service, it's referred to foam that is created while serving due to the pressure of CO2. It's called head. Head. Head is basically the froth of the beer. Head is basically a froth of the beer. All right. Green malt is sprouting the cereal. It's called germination. Okay. Hope, it is a dried flower of a hope plant used in beer making to get distinctive better taste and aroma. Isinglass, there's a term come to know is, it is the substance made from the air bladder of various fish, especially sturgeon, used in fining. Okay. Malting, it is a process of converting insoluble starch in cereal to soluble sugar by soaking and sprouting. Alright. Pasteurization, it is a process of heating the beer to destroy harmful bacteria. It is a process of heating the beer to destroy the bacteria. Okay. Pint, it is a unit of liquid measurement of 0.568. All right, it's a small amount, a small bottle. Pitching is means adding of yeast. Pitching means adding of yeast. I told you earlier also. Trappist beer. What is Trappist beer? This beer is produced under the close supervision of Trappist monk, who own the 8 breweries, 6 in Belgium and 1 each in Netherlands and Germany. What sweet liquid just before the fermentation is called what? All right. This another things I'm going to tell you. Malting, process of converting soluble starch into sugar is called malting. Grease, you know, mild, dried and roasted barley. Mash, how water is greased, hot water and greased. Wort, boiled water with the malt and hops is called wort. Sparging is spraying hot water to extract maximum sugar with the malt. All right. Okay. So service of beer, we have done all this. You know the draft beer, you can serve the draft beer. Accurate serving depends on these things. Cleanliness, temperature, correct pouring beers. So and finally there is a brand of the beer. So what are the brands of the beer? Italy is Pironi, Jamaica, Red Strip, India Kingfisher, Denmark Carlsberg, Japan Asahi, Mexico Modelo, Netherlands is Heineken, Pakistan Muri beer, Russia Baltica, Singapore Tiger beer, Indonesia Bentag beer, China Snow beer, Brazil Sko, Cambodia Angkor beer, Canada Libat. Some other beers are like Corona from Mexico, Foster from Australia, Amstel, Heineken, Netherlands, Tiger Beer, Singapore, Carlsberg from Denmark, Tuborg from Denmark. Okay, these are the international brand of the beer. You have to remember the 10 beer of the beer, 10 brands of the beer. And Trappist beer are Achel from Belgium, Quang, Quang, Quang Soven from Netherlands, Marigold from Germany. So these are the Trappist beer. Okay, in India, you know, Kingfisher, Flying Hours, Golden Eagle, Kalyani Black Label, Cobra, Hayward. These are the Indian brands of the beer. Kingfisher, Flying Horse, Golden Eagle, Kalyani Black Label, Cobra, and Hayward are the Indian brands of the beer. Alright, Foster, you know, from Australia, Amstel from Netherlands. So these are the brands of the beer. You have to remember at least 10 it can come in your semester exam. These are the byproduct. In this slide you can see the byproduct of the beer is marmit, gunies, and spent grains. Our conclusion, we can conclude that in ingredients are not added in properly condition or amount, it will result in different in flavor and aroma of the final product beer. In the process, time and condition are not maintained in the proper manner, it will affect the final product. So this is very important because once if you add the ingredients in proper proportion, your of course you will get the good results. If you will not uh, uh, add the proper condition and proper amount of product, it will vary from your result. Okay, thank you so much.